things you learn for all your life. You in a university, manifesting all your dreams. With paradise, your land is home. Writing contracts on your own. Protect your loved ones every day. Knowledge goes a long, long way. You in a university for me. University for me. UNA. Paradise all your life. University all your dreams. Land is home on your own every day. Long, long way. University for me. If anybody can hear me, please let me know, and then I will continue. This is a very important session today. Can anybody hear me? Welcome. Let me give some shout outs. Sean and Man and who else is in the house? Is anybody in the house? Robert, Mary, Ian, Eddie, Jose, Dat Rich, Michelle, Carmen, Miguel. If y'all can hear me, say something. Okay, go Diego, go. Anybody, y'all record this, please, if you can. Leland, thank you for joining. This is a very important session today. I'm very disturbed about some things that are going on. Today's session is titled, well, it had one title, but my title for this session is, you don't know what government is. You don't know what government is. And I'm going to try to keep my energy right because, dealing with a lot of stuff in this day. One includes the comments on some sessions that we've put up, especially dealing with what federal means. Federal. You don't know what government is. I put up a comment, a post, and it was talking about what federal is, what the federal government is. Federal means a covenant with God. I told you all, every time I sit down here, I say, don't believe a word I say. Thank you, Eddie. Don't believe a word I say. I want you to go and look it up. That's my word. That's what I like to say. But today I'm very frustrated. I'm very aggravated. I'm angry because somebody has been changing history. And that's been the problem. It's bad enough that people don't want to read and people don't want to study. But it's worse when I'm telling you to go look these things up. Somebody is changing the narrative right here today. And I'm here to tell you what's going on. You need to be aware. And all of you people, you're going to have people out here saying, oh, she's a lie. The federal doesn't mean this, and they're going to attack my character, but they're never going to be able to present anything to you that shows something different. But I'm here so be ready to take notes, because you need to understand why this stuff matters. You need to know what government really is. Somebody's lying to you. Somebody has been lying to you. And I'm here to try to help you to understand where the lies are. But if you're not, now it's making it's worse. It's worse, because even if you are willing to study, you got to recognize somebody's constantly lying to you, even in the things that you look up. So when you go on and look up stuff on Wikipedia and you're looking up stuff in Google and all this other stuff, it's a lie. It's a lie. And the frustrating thing is, I don't know how to tell you. You got to know how to research, and you got to start doing it now, because somebody's constantly changing history. Just like the period of Reconstruction in 1870 or in the 1800s, it's happening now. Somebody's trying to keep melanated people in Albion's fighting. And there's some of us out here who are trying to give you the truth and the facts. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. If you know somebody who's listen up. And pay attention. Some of us are trying to help. Some of us are trying to help you. And it's time for you all to start listening. It's time. Some of y'all don't want to recognize who you are. It's time for you. I'm disturbed that somebody's changing history, because now you can't even look this stuff up. I can say to you, look it up, but it doesn't matter, because somebody's changing history. Somebody's lying to you. Somebody's trying to keep you fighting against other people who are not harming you. Somebody's mess. I'm frustrated because when I tell you about what government this today is, you don't know what government is. But I'm going to tell you today. I'm going through it point by point. I'm going to present as much information as I can to you, and I'm going to tell you about a document in particular that has been moved from the record. And if anybody has it, it's called the Act of 1871. It has been removed from the internet. I cannot find it. And that's one of the documents that I tell you guys to go and look up, because it is making it clear that there are two United States. And it's called the Act of 1871. But don't, if you have looked it up in the past and you have it, save it and send it to me, please. Get it to me. I don't care how you get it here, but get it here. All right. Uh, 1 second. All right. So let me go into this. Government. What is government? One of the problems that we have had is that we have been lied to about who is government and who's not government. And I need y'all to be clear on this. I'm going to show you the evidence that I have. I need you to be willing to do some research, and then also be willing to vet everything that you even do find, because again, we're being lied to. Federal, write this down if you have it, because I don't. I don't have my I don't have my little visual aids here. So I need you to understand what's going on. Federal, state, city, county, city, county. All right. Federal, state, city, county, federal, state, city, county. Those are the four main governmental entities that you all are aware of. The problem is that y'all just clump them all in the one group and say, oh, that's government. We need to separate them and understand who's who and what their responsibility is to you as the people of this land. Regardless of what your skin color is, pay attention. Republican versus Democratic. Republican versus Democratic. Now, I need for us to understand where the term republic came from and where the term democratic comes from. Those people who study, and especially my students and my members, anybody who's watched our sessions and has any knowledge about what's going on, you know that when we're talking about republic, we're talking about reserving your God-given rights. Republic deals with reserving your God-given rights. So what are we saying? When we're dealing in the republic, and my people know who are operating as sovereigns and we're walking in the private, the republic is where you are standing or upholding the rights given to you by God, some of which include your right to protect yourself, your right to have arms, your rights to travel this planet without governmental documentation, your rights to even create money or create any kind of ability to have currency. You have those rights. And so when you're understanding what the republic is, then you will want to stand in the republic that's going to always protect your God-given rights. What is a democracy? A democracy is an organization, aka country, that is mob rule. What does that mean? That means that the majority vote is what determines whatever the so-called rules are of that organization. Well, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with a democracy is that the fewer in number do not get heard. And the other problem is that the masses tend to be highly ignorant. And I mean highly. Instead of coming together and creating a policy that works to the benefit of everybody, a democracy is going to listen to the loud mouths who are clearly ignorant and then go with what they say as opposed to the thing that works for everybody. That's the problem with the democracy. And so democracies end in chaos. If you don't think this is chaos, what we're in right now, I don't know what you're living in. Democracies end in chaos. And the thing about it is that in a democracy, your rights are not protected. You don't have any rights in a democracy if the majority of ignorant people decide, well, no, it needs to be this way, even though it's harmful to the society at large. Well, the democracy doesn't care about that. Democracy is only concerned with, well, these people over here said that they want it, even though these people over here, they're ignorant, they haven't studied anything, they haven't taken the time to really digest and understand the ramifications of what their choice is. Yeah, that's your democracy versus a republic that is always going to protect your God-given rights at all costs. Okay, so now we're understanding. So I'm trying to break this down to make it clear, to help you understand where we came from and why when we switch these terms, now they've made democracy out to be some kind of glamorous, oh, it's democratic, it's the democracy, when it's the exact opposite. And because we don't have a clue of the things that we're supporting, you damn yourself because you, oh, I want it to be democratic. Okay, let me continue. Because originally, the republic was where your melanated people stood. Because we knew that we stood with God. I'm going to say this again. Originally, it was the republic where the melanated people stood because we knew we stood with God. Oh, wait a minute. But I would we be voting Democratic on it? This Democrat, and we the Democratic Party. Let me give you a clue about what happened in history. Pay attention and take notes. So originally, as I told you, the so-called white people that were coming here were melanated. And they were owners of land. Most of them were royalty from places like Britain and Morocco and what is it? Morocco, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, places like that, because they were sailors and they came over into the land. All right. So they came into the land and they were respecting the republic because they knew what republic meant. So as these melanated people, these Moors, they started to lose their power because they started to lose knowledge. They stopped educating their melanated people. And then they started educating the Albions because, look, when we talk about Moors, they were sexing everything that moved. They were more so sleeping with the Albion women that they brought in as slaves. Look up Moorish concubines, all right? Look up Moorish bathhouses and understand they started to educate their Albion offspring and not their melanated offspring. Pay attention, because I don't want it to be said and thought that all this is because the Albion, what the Albion did to the melanated people. Let's be clear, because y'all want to be talking about, oh, the Europeans came over here and they did, the original Europeans were melanated people. Your Moors of Morocco and Tunis and Algiers. Why do you think they got this term Indo-European? Why do you think they got that? Because that was referring to the Albions, because they once again switched terms. And so now y'all have dropped the Indo, and the only thing y'all know is European, and y'all want to apply that to Albions when original Europeans were melanated. Watch out. You this close. You this close, watch out. Say something with intelligence, because we're intelligent in this land. In this land. And if I'm offending you because you're light-skinned, this is not meant to offend you. I'm telling you the facts. So stay tuned and be intelligent and don't knee-jerk in my room. Levita says, can I suggest books to read? I suggest topics for you to look up, Levita, because there's not a book that I have found that I have a true respect for, that everything in it is on point. So when I give you topics, I'm giving you topics to look up, because you need to look up the topics and then you can find several different sources based on that topic. So when I tell you Moorish bathhouses, when I tell you to look up Moorish, any kind of Moorish who were coming in the land, here's another thing that I want you to look up. Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, and any kind of Barbary Treaty companies, look that up, because I need you to look up the topics, because that's going to lead you to more information. I don't want you to just read books that I suggest to you. I need you to do research, because a lot of these books just do not tell the full truth, okay? So we're understanding that there's the republic and then there's the democracy, all right? The democracy is based on mob rule. Mob rule is always going to end up in chaos, all right? This is where your rights are not protected. If you are in the minority of people, then you're going to not be heard, all right? And so your rights, therefore, are not protected. To the republic. What has happened is that at some point when the Moors lost their power in the governmental system, this is around your 1800s, because they were actually running originally the United States of America from the beginning, because it was elite Moors that actually created it, not no Albions. Elite Moors actually created the United States of America, melanated folks. This is why they don't tell you about the presidents before Washington, George Washington. They don't tell you about that, all right? Because those people, a lot of them were melanated, all right? They want you to believe that it was Albions running this when it wasn't, all right? So what has happened is, George Washington comes in, and George Washington is actually a crony to the Queen of England. Washington was melanated. Now, I need to get into this because I'm just wanting to get to these words. Washington was melanated. Abraham Lincoln was melanated. Everybody in between them was melanated, and they all are direct descendants of the Queen of England. The Queen of England was melanated all the way up to the mid-1800s. I need you to look up royalty, melanated royalty. Just look it up, and then you're going to find a whole bunch of sources. Read those sources. All right. So what I'm getting to is that in the Americas, melanated people, or the Moors, had started to lose their power. It started with George Washington. By the 1800s, they had pretty much lost all of their power. And this is when we start getting these different parties coming in. Republican Party, Democratic Party. Now, by the time 1871 rolled around, both of these parties were owned by Britain, as is today, still owned by Britain. Now, I'm not going into that today because I go into how the United States went back over to Britain and what's the difference between the United States of America versus the United States. Go to YouTube, find us at UNA Republic on YouTube, and we go through that. All right, the difference between the United States of America versus the United States. All right, so at this time when the Moors had lost all of their power, nobody even remembers that they was in power because history has been rewritten in 1870s. In the mid 1800s, what we call the Reconstruction era. Look that up. Look up the Reconstruction era and find out what happened and how all kind of things were rewritten and reconstructed. All right, so at this time, there was this whole plan, and we're talking about the Republican Party versus Democratic Party, to switch it to where melanated people would vote Democratic, which Democratic was not to their benefit. Let me give y'all another clue. That whole rebel flag that you all know with the cross on it and the stars, that was originally an Indian flag. Melanated folks, the original people of the land, that was originally an Indian flag. Now they got melanated folks hating that flag. That flag was originally, that cross, that was an Indian flag. Look that up. And what happened is that some kind of way they have switched it to where melanated people hate the flag and they think, oh, that flag is against us. And then you got Albions thinking that flag is for them, when the people who originally was flying that flag, they was for the enslavement of the Albion, so-called white people. They were for, because remember, the Indians originally owned slaves. Oh, we forgot about that. The original people of the land were melanated. They looked like me. They originally owned slaves. That flag belonged to Indians, and they were the ones saying, oh yeah, we want to keep these Albions enslaved. They should not have access to be a citizen. Okay. When you do your research, you'll find that there was a plan put in purposefully to get the melanated people to vote Democratic. And to this day, melanated people are still voting Democratic, and it is not even in your best interest to be voting Democratic because it has nothing to do about protecting your rights. It has everything to do with taking away your rights. A democratic form of government did not just tell you what democracy is. It means mob rule. It means that the fewer in number do not get a voice. So if you know that you as a melanated being are fewer in number, why would you partake in something that has nothing to do with your benefit? It won't even hear you because you are fewer in number. Now, we're not as few in number as they claim. It's not no 13%. Like, it's way more than that. We probably 35%. But you definitely would not be in the majority. So why would you vote in some kind of, or partake in a system that is not going to hear your voice, number one, and number two, is going against your God-given rights? It don't make sense. Now, that being said, the whole system is garbage to me. Democratic and Republic, they all are owned by the same people. So I'm not even getting involved in any of that political. At UNA Republic. So if you can find us there, good. Catch us there. But please do know that, yeah, we are being watched, we're being monitored, and yes, we are being blocked, but that's okay because my watchers are watching the watchers. Okay, all you agents, welcome. Welcome, agents. And if you block this, we're going to find another way to get back up. Okay, we will not be stopped. Welcome, everybody. This is going to be a very serious session. I hope you have pen and paper. This is information that I'm going to share that is being hidden. There are things that you need to know. The topic of this session is called the federal government means a covenant with God, but it's also titled, You Don't Know What Government Is. You don't know what government is. And if you're able to hear me okay and hear me clearly without freezing, please let me know. If you can hear me okay and you can hear me without freezing, please let me know and then I will move forward. Thank you, God dealers. Welcome. Good to see you. So for my people out there who've been watching and who are studying, who want to know the truth, who want to learn about what's really going on with these so-called governmental agencies, I need you to be ready to take notes. And please, if you know other people who are putting the information out, please tell them thank you. Give them their roses, because we feel like we're in a battle that's uphill, and the people who we're trying to help are willfully ignorant. And you can't understand how frustrating that is when you're trying to give people insight and information and they refuse to study. So today I'm going through what a government is, and I'm going to give you some information. Unfortunately, what I normally tell you guys is don't believe a word I say, go and look it up. The problem is that somebody's changing history as I sit here and speak to you today. Somebody is changing history. The things that are supposed to be on record are no longer on record. The things that we used to be able to find online, we can no longer find them online. We are in a time of reconstruction where somebody's reconstructing history. And this is why you need to know what government is and what these different governmental agencies are set up for and how they're supposed to work for you. So please listen and pay attention. We know 4 different governmental entities, one being the federal, state, city, county. Pay attention, because what people tend to do is clump them all into one group and call them government. And they're not all government. Pay attention. Federal, as I've said before, it means a covenant with God. And right now I'm saying it here online because I'm going to tell you to look up the etymology of federal. And it means a covenant with God. So when we're talking about these federal agents, all of them take an oath, and that oath ends with, so help me God. They take an oath to protect God's property. Well, who is God's property? That's you. You are God's property. You are the beneficiary of this agreement that these people have with this covenant with God. So help me God. Federal. They are there to protect you, but somebody has made you think that federal has something to do with being against you. That's not the case. All of these agencies that are talking about they federal, they're not even federal. FBI, they're not even federal. That's a private entity, and we're going to get into that tonight. Even when you're talking about the IRS, they're not even federal. But what you got to understand is that there are entities there that have taken over, and they are pretending to be something they are not. State. You got to understand there's two sides to the state. There's a public side and then there's a private side. The private side is there for those of us who walk in our sovereignty, who stand with God. That's what the private side of the state is for. But you got to understand the public side is called state of Georgia, state of Tennessee, state of Texas, state of Florida. All of these state of, they are not government. They're not government. They're owned by Britain. All of them, state of anything, they're not sovereign. They're owned by Britain. And I want y'all to go and find the session on UNA Republic on YouTube and look up the session that's called United States versus the United States of America. Somebody wants you to think there's not a difference. And this is why I would tell you guys to go and look up the Act of 1871. Any of my intelligent people who have been doing your research and you have that act, the real act, please send it to me. That was one of my frustrating things today. I'm sitting here looking for this document that has been online, that I've actually spoken about and read about online, on lives, and that thing has disappeared. You can't find it. It's disappeared because it tells the truth about the Act of 1871. But we're going to get into that. Federal means a covenant with God. State, there's a state that is republic. That means your God-given rights are protected. And then there's a state of anything, and that's owned by Britain. There's city. We're not getting into city today, but county, what you need to be fully aware of is county is for the people. And I need to go into county first, and then we're going to get into federal and understand how state has stolen your authority. So on the county level, what you have to understand is when you go into the county, you are supposed to be able to put a document on record that represents the facts. Let's understand why counties were developed in the first place. When the county was established, it was to maintain historical documentation such that nobody can change it. If you are new to studying and you look up the Act of 1871 right now, what you're going to find is a lie. And I mean a very big lie. And we're going to go through that. I'm here tonight. I got time for this because I need y'all to know. And anybody who's willing to listen, thank you. Thank you. Tell somebody. Tell somebody, because I'm letting you know right now, somebody is changing history. And they're making it to where you guys are constantly fighting people who are not the ones who are hitting you. Y'all melanated people always talking about, oh, the white man, and they ain't the one who's doing it to you. They're not. But somebody's lying to you. And because you're not willing to see and open your eyes, you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up. County, why was it created? According to my research, it was created by an elite group of Moors who came into the land, and they were running their own government. They were doing business in the land. Now, there were many people who came here and started doing business with and let me try to find my my people on YouTube. But there were many people who were doing business with the original people in the land. All right, so Britain came in and they created treaties with the original people of the land. All right, so that was a group of Moors, because again, Moors doesn't have anything to do with skin color, even though a lot of these British people, they were melanated. They might have been amalgamated, but they were still melanated. All right. So then you got Britain. You've got, who else that came in here? The Moors, these elite Moors that came in, and they befriended the original people of the land. And this is when they started creating this United States of America. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Because what happened is Britain comes in and they established these colonies, and they created treaties with the original people. There was another group of Moors in here that created this United States of America. They also created what we call counties. That's that organization on the private side. And what these counties are there to do is to document the records of the people. Now, counties means to count. They're counting, okay, you said you got this land, and I'm keeping account of, you said you got this land, and I'm keeping account of. That's what the county is for. So when you go to the county and you say, I need to put this document on record, they are to put that document on record, no questions asked. They're not supposed to be asking you, oh, what's your name? And let me see your ID, and why you do it. They're not supposed to be doing any of that. When you say, I want to put this on record, that's what they're supposed to do. Counties were there to preserve the truth. And that's why with counties, if somebody were to make a change on any document that goes on record, it is a felony, and they are supposed to go to prison. If you put something on record with the county and anybody makes a change of those records, they are supposed to go to prison. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. No, get yourself in prison. Pay attention. That's the county. That's for the people. That's on the private side. This is why anything dealing with land, you got to go through the county. They're not calling the popo. No, they're calling the sheriff, because the sheriff is the highest authorizing agent on land behind the coroner, and we're not going into that today, but the coroner is the highest. But after the coroner, there's the sheriff, and the sheriff, it's his job to protect the land. So here you got the sheriff in this county, and the county, when you put a document on record, it is to be respected and protected, and nobody or their mama's cousin, uncles, daddy better change it or they go into prison. All right. So we understand that about a county. The county is the highest authorizing agency on the private side. And this is why counties were created, because they know that these people like to change history. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. And if you're not willing to study and research, and this is why I don't read people's books, I don't care about people's opinions or narratives. I want to see the facts. I want to see some legal documentation, some scientific documentation, some archaeology. I want to get into the etymology. If you're not giving me that, then I'm not going to just believe what you have to say. Okay, carrying on. You understand what a county is now. Now let's understand what the federal is. Federal, on the public side, is the highest authorizing agency. So once again, on the private side, if you are sovereign and you want your protection and you walking on the private, the county is where you need to be. If you're sovereign and you walking on the public side, the federal is where you need to be. So let's understand once again what federal means. Federal means a covenant with God. And all these people take oaths because these federal agents have made a covenant with God. And once again, who are the beneficiaries of this trust or this agreement that they have made with this God? Is you. So why is that important? Because you got to understand there's somebody who's working on your behalf on the federal side. But there's another agency called the state that has stepped in and has pretended to be federal when they are not. So what happens is y'all just clump everything in. Oh, they government. No, they're not. No, they're not. And I'm going to show you some things, because the federal has been working for you, But they can't step up and say to you, well, you know, we're here for you. They can't. There's laws to this game. But you got the state stepping in here, pretending like they being somebody who they're not. And we're going to go through it today. I'm going to show you some things as much as I can, because again, these people are changing history right now in your face. And I'm so upset because I can't tell you to go look it up anymore. You can't just go and Google it anymore. They've hidden it. So listen, again, if you have seen the original or the true Act of 1871, I want you to go and look it up. Give it to me. Not the one that you're going to see now, because this is recently changed. But let me get into this. So you're understanding on the private side, you need to be looking at the county. This is where we put our documents. This is where we create laws. And they stand above anything the United States corporation or anybody else's corporation can write. On the public side, federal, that's the highest authorizing agency on the public side. And there's somebody on the federal side working for you. You got to know the difference between federal and state. And I'm going to show you some things. So I want you to listen and pay attention and take notes. All right. So now there is, as I spoke about, a difference between the United States corporation and the United States of America. And let's understand, you could tell this with the Act of 1871. This is the act that created a fraudulent organization called the United States. And it is incorporated in Washington, D.C. But you think that the United States is the United States of America. And let's be clear that it is not. It is owned by Britain. And the Act of 1871 made it 100% clear that this was a British organization. But it has been removed. It has been removed. And I'm going to go into some things so I can give you an understanding of what's going on right now. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it again. I'm kind of enhance. Let's see, not enhance, interact, sub. I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to find how to put my little backdrops up here. They've changed everything. Comment, flip camera, mirror, give, support, pause, mute, settings. Let me see what we're looking like on settings. Comment, moderate. I don't know if that guy has who made TikTok. I don't know if he's turned over everything to the United States corporation the way they were trying to bully him or not. But I tell you what, let me see if I can share this. Let's see. All right, so let me read this. Let me see which one this is. And see if you guys can see this. No, let me see. That's not the one. All right, let me see. Conspiracy. Okay, let me read this one first. So the original Act of 1871, if you guys can see this, and I'm going to move out the way, and I'm going to read this so that we're all on the same page. Now, this is a synopsis because tonight, what I was going to do tonight is actually go through the Act of 1871, but I can't find it. For whatever reason, it has been removed. And again, somebody is rewriting history. I'm going to tell you what what the Act of 1871 you'll see now. But right here, this is the Act of 1871. This is a synopsis, and I don't encourage you guys to read synopsis for the simple fact that people lie. And for me, people ask me all the time, well, Diva, how you find this information? Because I read, I study, I research, not somebody's book. I am looking for legal documentation, archaeological documentation. And this synopsis, this is the closest thing that I can find right now that tells the truth about what the Act of 1871 is. So read it. And if you find the original, you find it, hold on to it, save it, put it in your archives, because somebody's trying to change the narrative about what happened in history. So I'm going to read this synopsis. The Act of 1871. 1871, February 24th, Congress passes an act to provide a government for the District of Columbia, also known as the Act of 1871. With no constitutional authority to do so, Congress creates a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, a 10-mile by 10-mile square parcel of land. Acts of the 41st Congress, Section 34, Section 3, Chapters 61 and 62. The act passed when the country was weakened and financially depleted in the aftermath of Civil War. Was a strategic move by foreign interests, international bankers who were intent upon gaining a stranglehold on the coffers of the neck of America. Congress cut a deal with the international bankers, specifically Rothschild of London, to incur a debt to said bankers because the bankers were not about to lend money to a floundering nation without serious stipulations. They devised a way to get their foot in the door of the United States. The Act of 1871 formed a corporation called the United States, all capital letters. All right. And then it says the corporation owned by foreign interests moved in and showed the original Constitution to a dustpan. Basically, what happened was they rewrote, or they wrote a new Constitution. That's the one y'all know will occur in effect, vandalized and sabotaged. When the title was capitalized, the word for was changed to of in the title. The Constitution of the United States of America is the Constitution of an incorporated United States of America, all capital letters. I know y'all might not be able to see that, but because of all the letters and stuff on TikTok. But basically, let me recap what has happened. In the Act of 1871, there was a new constitution written, and it's called the Constitution of the United States of America. That's the new one. That's the fraudulent one. All right. The original Constitution was the Constitution for the United States of America. And what has happened is they rewrote it. They took out so many different amendments or changed things, redacted things. And so what has happened is there's this United States all capital corporation that's owned by Britain. But I can't find the original one so that I can go over the original document to you. Why? Because it's been rewritten. And let me rephrase that, because it's been totally wiped off the internet. I can't even find it. Why can't I find this act when I found it many times before? Now, when I go to look for it, I can't find it. You know what I find when I go to look for it? Let me show you what I find when I go to look for it, because I'm so disgusted. When I go to look for this document now, I do a search. Let me tell you what I find. This is what I find here. when I go to look for the Act of 1871, I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but it says the Enforcement Act of 1871, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Act, Third Enforcement Act, Third Ku Klux Klan Act, Civil Rights Act of 1871, or Force Act of 1871, is an act of the United States Congress that was intended to combat paramilitary vigilantism of the Ku Klux Klans. That is the biggest lie. Hold on. Let me show you what else it says. 1 second. All right. So now, when I go and look up, because I'm trying to find one second, because I'm going to pull this up. I need you to understand what's going on. It can't just be that I'm just sitting here telling you this and I can't even say go study anymore. All right, let me see what this is so I can read it. Thank you for bearing with me. I hope you do bear with me because I need y'all to understand this is very important. They've been changing history. Somebody knew that, which is why they created the county, which is why they created those laws where they're saying you can't change anything. Okay, this thing here says the act, it says conspiracy theory right here. If you look up here, you see where it says conspiracy theory. Now, this thing goes on to say, this is when you look up Wikipedia. Let me see if I can change this thing. When you look up Wikipedia, it says conspiracy theories. The act is the basis of several claims held by the sovereign citizen movement. Bull, lies. According to these, the act made the district and consequently the whole United States into a business corporation. These claims stem from the term municipal corporation used in the act. There are many kinds of corporations. A corporation is any group of authorized legally act as single entity. In this case, an incorporated organization, District of United States. Most U.S. cities are countries and are municipal corporations. Let me take this bull off the screen because I can't. Listen up, people. There are many of us out here trying to help you. And all of us have to be willing to do research. We also have to know the truth about what government is. If we stay ignorant, then there won't be any forcing them to do what they're supposed to do. Right now, these people are highly ignorant, and you can see they are changing history once again. The same way they made Santa Claus black, quote unquote black, the same way they made Jesus black or white, excuse me. All right. So here's what I'm saying, just so we understand what's going on. The Act of 1871 is telling that Britain owned this organization whereby the United States Corporation was incorporated, and they only have that United States Corporation only has jurisdiction in what we know of as Washington, D.C. Thank you. Thank you, Times. I appreciate it. So the deal is we've got to get to the point where we're willing to do research. And I'm here to tell you that what has happened is that these people have rewritten history once again, and they're constantly doing it. And if we don't preserve it, then it's going to be very difficult for us to come up out of this mess. Things are changing very rapidly right now, to the point where they are losing their foothold. But if people are ignorant, then it doesn't matter if they lose their foothold. People still going to stay enslaved. All right. I'm trying to hold it together because I'm really frustrated right now. Again, if you all know somebody who's putting this information out, give them a shout out. Tell them thank you, because it's not easy for us to speak to people who want to be willfully ignorant. It's very difficult. And especially when we see what's going on and we're trying to warn people and then people are slowly awakening. Yeah, it's a very frustrating thing. I want to go back to this and stating why counties were created. Somebody knew that these people were going to change history because that's what they do. Somebody knew that it's going to be an issue where if people are ignorant, they're going to still stay enslaved and there will be no hope for them. So we're here to tell you that. Let me continue because I wanted to make sure I made all my points there. So you've seen what they're doing now is they're talking about a Ku Klux Klan Act when this had nothing to do with race. This act had absolutely nothing to do with race. And now they've changed it and switched it to say this is the Ku Klux Klan Act, where the Congress was trying to battle the Ku Klux Klan from rising up. It's a garbage lie. This act had everything to do with the fact that Britain owned the United States Corporation. And let's make this clear. It's not only the United States that they've done this in. They did this in New Zealand. They did this in Australia. So what they do is they'll go into a territory that's unincorporated, that sits right there next to the land or close to the land or in the land. And then they'll create a private corporation and steal the authority from the original republic of that land. And then all of the people are clueless and ignorant. And they just believe, oh, this is the government of New Zealand, or this is the government of Australia. When these people are not government at all, they're private entities pretending to be federal, pretending to be county. And the minute we catch them in it, all of them got to go straight to hell. I mean, jail, or maybe hell. Both of them. But if you don't know what's going on, you can't catch them. You're going to keep doing contracting with them and signing things over to them. And as long as you keep signing yourself over to them, then you're going to be a slave to them. All right, let me continue. Some things I need you to understand about the difference between federal versus state versus county. County was created for you to protect your assets. Listen up and pay attention and take notes. County was created for you to be able to protect your assets. What am I talking about? Your cars, your homes, your house, your children, all of that. Your marriage. Anytime you are registering something, pay attention. Anytime you are registering something, you're registering that with who? The state. State of this, state of that. The state is the one who's there to take everything that you own. That includes your children, your marriage, and make money off of it. That's what the state is for. The state does that to the people. The county is there to help you take control of those assets. Let me see if my people on YouTube, what they doing. Let me see what we got. All right. The county is there to help you take control of those assets. Let me see if my people on I gotta turn her down. Hold on. Let me see what we got. All right. The county is there to help you. Oh boy. I'm gonna have an echo for days. Hold on. All right. I guess I turned it down. I don't know. So we had to come with different apparatuses today. So that's why I am got to figure out how to work my new system, because we got a new setup. So give me a second. All right, so good. So my people on YouTube, if you're still there with me, let me know. And thank you, He God. Now let me get into this. The county, once again, this is how you protect your assets. You're supposed to be putting things on record with the county. Pay attention to this. But there's the state that has told you you have to register everything with them, your car, your house, all of these things, your child. And then you wonder why Child Protective Services come in and they take your child. Well, you gave them right to take your child. You wonder why whoever it is, the courts can put on you, telling you to pay child support and all of this. You gave them permission to be in your private business because you registered your marriage and all of these things. Your priest, you got your preacher telling you, oh, when he said, talk invested in him by God. Why is he doing that? Because there's nothing concerning your marriage that has to do with God. It all has to do with the state. All right. If you found it, chocolate, I want you to send me a message in the inbox so that I can get with you and get that document. All right. Why are they doing that? Because they need you to turn over and sign over everything that you own to the state. But when you put it on record with the county, then you have claimed control and ownership of it. Now, on the public side, there is the federal also that protects you. That's another jurisdiction whereby these people cannot come at you. But you got to know the difference, because you keep thinking, oh, well, the state says, and the state law, anybody talking to you about state law, you understand they are not government. As a matter of fact, pay attention. I'm going to go into some things to help you understand the difference between federal and state. And see, I know this is over a lot of people's head. I get it. That's why we have the university. You're not going to just pick this stuff up in a couple of minutes. Oh, I heard it. No, you got to get it in your system. You got to know law. Pay attention. Take notes. Anytime you go on the internet, anything.gov is not government at all. I'm going to say this again. Pay attention. Anything.gov is not government at all. It is a privately owned entity owned by the United States Corporation, which so if you want to find your true federal entities, you find them under .org or .com. Pay attention. If you want to find your true federal entities, you find them under .org or .com. You're not going to find them under .gov. Anything under .gov is not a federal organization. I don't care what letters they put on it. I don't care what word they put on it. If it's under .gov, they're not truly federal. All right. So we're understanding that. I'm going to give you some examples. Because if you look up the Federal Reserve System, for example, Federal Reserve System, understand that that is truly not federal. Look it up. Federal Reserve. You can look that up right now. And so even everything that I'm telling you about, listen, and I'm going into some deep stuff, and I hope y'all are intelligent enough to be willing to listen. Because I'm going into some deep stuff and take notes. Thank you for the love, Alfred and Chocha. Thank you so much. Now, there is, when we're talking about this, again, the Federal Reserve System, there's a difference between the Federal Reserve System and the Federal Reserve Bank. Thank you, Allied. There's a difference. So when you go and look up the Federal Reserve System, and y'all can do that now, what you're going to find is Federal Reserve System is under a .gov organization. When I say .gov, whatever .gov, let me look it up. And see, I was going to use my Federal Reserve.gov. Federal Reserve.gov. But when I want to find a Federal Reserve Bank, look up Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. Look up Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. And what you're going to find? AtlantaFed.org. Look up Federal Reserve Bank of all these there's 12 other banks. When you want to find the true Federal Reserve or federal anything, it's not going to be under .gov. And the reason why I'm telling you about the difference between federal and state is because y'all got to stop clumping these organizations up and just calling them all government, because anything under .gov is not government at all. Anything state of anything is not government at all. And we're going to understand the difference tonight. If all two of y'all get it, that's fine. I got two people ready to go to the next level with me. Now, some of y'all know about the fiat currency and all the stuff that happened in 1933 and how the money was taken off of the gold was taken out of commission, and that it was declared that there is no money. All right. I need to introduce to you all some things and some knowledge and understanding. The federal government is still working for you. And what the state or this United States corporation, what they do is when there's a federal entity, they're going to create another entity and put it right next to it. They're going to look the same, but they're not the same. I'm going to say this again. This U.S. corporation over here, they will take an object that looks very similar to a federal product, and you think you dealing with the federal side when you're not. They look the same, but they are not. I'm going to give you a couple of things that you can see to help you understand what's going on and what they're doing. They have an MO. They have an MO. They lie to the people. and the county and then the federal side as well, they were established because whoever set them up, they knew these people lied. They know how they change information. They know, and they know how people will not do their research. Thank you, Swug. So pay attention. I'm going to get into one that you see all the time, walking around and you are clueless about it. When we're talking about this currency, Federal Reserve currency, let's understand that there have been several different currencies. All right. There's $1. Now, you'll see fives and tens and hundreds. When y'all look at these, you all think these are the same animal, and they're not the same animal. These two are not the same animal. One of them is federal, and the other one is state. One of them is federal, and one of them is state. Y'all think these are the same animal, and they're not. So let me help you to understand the difference. Give me 1 second. See if I can do this real quick. I'm gonna put these together real quick so that you can understand what I'm saying. Because once you get it, then this should, I say it should, that I mean it will, open your eyes and help you to understand this game that's going on. All right. So we got these entities right here. And I need you to understand that this $1 bill is a federal instrument, whereas this 20 and this 100, they are not. So your ones and twos are federal instrument, but your fives, your tens, your hundreds, your 20s, your 50s, they are state instruments. And how can we tell, Diva? Now, first of all, with this $1 bill, you're going to see at the top it says Federal Reserve Note. Now, this is that title, that's copyrighted title of an organization called the United States Corporation. Take a look. When you see that, you see it's in a box. Now, I'm going to tell you all something. I'm going to give you all heads up. Pay attention. Take notes. There's a rule. It's called the four-corner rule. I hope y'all getting this, because I need y'all to understand that all my channels, they're under attack. My frequencies are under attack. And I'm giving this information to you because I'm trying to help you understand and see what's going on so you can free yourself. I hope you're taking notes. There is a rule. It's called the four-corner rule. And what it means is that anything in a box does not appear on the page. It means it doesn't really exist on the page. So this is why when you go into court and things are in a box or what have you, they're playing that game, that four-corner rule game. So notice on this $1 bill how there is a box around Federal Reserve Note. Well, what does that mean? That means it's not really a Federal Reserve note. Meanwhile, on this $20 bill, you'll see Federal Reserve up here is not in a box. Federal Reserve note is not in a box. On this $100 bill, you see Federal Reserve note is not in a box. All right. There's another thing that you need to pay attention to that helps you to understand that this is a federal instrument. Now, let me say this before I move on to that. Have you noticed that this $1 bill over the time of your life, anybody's watching this $1 bill been the same. The design has been the same. It hasn't changed. Y'all didn't notice that? It's still been the same. Meanwhile, the 5s and the 10s and the 20s, they changing everything, colors all different, head bigger. It's a different instrument because it's a state instrument. It's not a truly federal instrument. This $1 bill is. The $2 bills are. Now, watch this. I want to show you something. You see this seal right here. When I go up close, you'll see a letter. All right. Here, it'll say inside of this seal, bank of whatever. And that F represents the letter of the bank that holds this $1 bill. So this one in this case is Bank of Georgia. So Georgia would be F. And again, there are 12 banks. So what this means is that this financial instrument is backed by Georgia, the bank, the Federal Reserve Bank of Georgia. And when we look up the Federal Reserve Bank of Georgia, what you're going to find is it's under a .gov. Atlanta Fed. All right. Meanwhile, when you look at this $20 bill, it says Federal Reserve System. And once again, when you look up Federal Reserve System, well, who is that under? Well, that's under .gov. You can look that up for yourself. And so now let's understand again. This $1 bill is federal. Federal is backing this. This is why whenever these funds get repositioned or restructured or whatever they claiming they're going to do, anything a 5 above, it's going to be devalued. Pay attention to why it's going to be devalued. I'm not just sitting here telling you this stuff and then not giving you no reason about why. You understand it when you hear people start talking about this. They trying to fearmonger you. Oh, all the money gonna drop. Well, I need you to understand why. I need you to understand what's going on. So pay attention. This $1 bill is federally backed by this bank that has nothing to do with the United States Corporation. This is federal. That's why you got this on the back of here. Remember, I told you federal made a covenant with God to protect God's property, which is the people. You are the beneficiary of any covenant that's made concerning federal. This is a contract. This is federally backed. This is not 20s, 100s, 5s, 10s. They're not backed. So what happens is when they devalue it, why are they devaluing it? Because this thing right here, there's not really 20 of these ones. Listen up. Listen. And Pate said, by what, ma'am? Pale. I don't understand your question. Make it clear and I'll be glad to answer your question. Y'all think this $20 bill is 20 of these ones, but it's not. Pay attention. This 20 is representative of 1/20th of this $1 bill. This $20 bill is representative of 1/20th of this $1 bill. So when everything gets revalued, the 1 doesn't lose its value. The 2 doesn't lose its value. But damn it, this 20 will. Damn it, this 100 will. Because these are not truly federal instruments. This 1 is. That's why it's going to be devalued. But these are animals you see every day in your face. You see these every day in your face. Let me show you something. Another very, very valuable instrument is what we call a stamp. but not just any stamp. So I want to show you how, once again, I'm going to show you how, once again, these entities will take an instrument, a federal instrument, and put it right next to, they'll take a federal instrument rather, and they'll create their own instrument and put it right next to the federal instrument and make you believe it's the same thing when it's not. So pay attention. All right. When we are doing business, when we are sovereigns, when we do business, we use registered mail labels. We use registered mail labels. Also, understand that there is a certified mail label. Now they're gonna put these right next to each other. It's the same thing. It's both federal jurisdiction. That is the lie. Let me go into this real quick because I need y'all to understand. You got the United States Post Office and USPS. United States Post Office and USPS. They're not the same. So understand, when you walk into the post office, oh, this is a federal place. Well, if it's federal, first of all, let's be clear about this. I'm the beneficiary of anything federal. So then it belongs to me is what you're saying. Okay. But what I need you to understand is when you walk into the post office, there is a federal side, and then there is I'm going to call it a private, because it's a private entity that belongs to the United States Corporation. All right. United States Post Office is the federal side. How do you deal with the United States Post Office? You know that little blue box that's sitting outside, or that little box that's inside where it's like drop your mail here? That's federal. But when you go across the counter and you start talking to the people, okay, I would like to buy this and I would like to send this off and I would like, that's the United States Postal Service. That's the side that belongs to United States Corporation owned by Britain. So the United States Post Office, that is federal. But then when you start going across the counter and talking to those people, oh, well, again, that's that right there. They're sitting right there next to each other. They look like they the same thing, but they're not. No, it's not the same. And so when I get people talking about paying postage and all of that, well, when you deal with the federal side, the postage is already paid. But you got to know what the federal side is. You keep walking up there talking to these people and trying to do business or what have you. These people are not truly federal. Not at all. But these people are. All right. So, getting back to this. You go in there and you say, yes, I would like to send something registered mail. This is the real federal right here. But then over here they go, well, no, you can just send it what's certified. It's going to get there faster and it's going to be cheaper. It's better. No, it's not. Because now you're in their jurisdiction when you're over here using a certified mail. When I send this document off, this thing is under federal protection right here. This is my trust. Nobody better mess with me or anything concerning this trust or they go into prison. But if you sending a document off using this is not under federal jurisdiction. We operate in the private. We're using a federal instrument. This is a state instrument. Oh, they look the same. They look like they the same animal, but they're not. Let me show you another instrument that is very powerful. Stamps. I'm trying to see what kind of stamps I have on here. When you're using stamps, you always want to use stamps that have a dollar value on it. Do not use these raggedy stamps. I'm getting issues. Give me 1 second. I think it's all right. So these stamps up here with the dollar value on it, they are federal. This Forever stamp, this is a state product. There is a difference. When I put this stamp on it that has a dollar amount on it, this thing is under federal protection. And there's a big deal about being under. Hold on, let me show you something else. Let me show you. All right. So when you're under federal protection, you can do things like this. So when certain entities and agents roll up on you, this takes you out of their jurisdiction. They can't just be trying to pull you over, because when they do, they're risking committing a felony. They don't have jurisdiction. I hope y'all paying attention to me, because some of y'all be like, oh, it don't matter. They don't play by the law. That's because you don't know what the rules are. You don't know what the law is. You don't know what government is, and you don't know what to say to them. When you start learning how to speak and stand, they won't have a choice but to treat you like the God that you are. But if you keep trying to act like a victim, well, then that's what you're going to be treated like. You keep trying to act like a citizen, well, then that's what you're going to be trying to be treated like. If you want to join, if you want to know this information, then send a message to the inbox, all right, with your name, phone number, and email. And I'd be glad to, we'll invite you to our workshop so that you can get a consultation and join the university. But let's understand this, because people think things are free. I'm not going over that tonight. If you want to learn and you're willing to invest in yourself, the information is there for you. Or you can keep trying to research. You can't even research no more. You can't research no more. See, I was upset. Now I'm happy now. I'm happy. I was upset that they had taken all the information down. But now, if you want the real deal, you better be willing to pay for it, or you will stay enslaved. Because they are rewriting history right now. And if you don't know this law, and now they're making it difficult for you to even get to the true law. Cornell law used to have all the UCCs up. Come to find out, they are changing and redacting the UCCs that you find at Cornell law. Yeah, y'all, you better get it. You better get it. Because they're changing everything. And at some point, you're going to be enslaved. And I'm telling you, if you don't get it now, you're going to pay a pretty penny to get it later. All right. So now we're understanding there's a difference between a true federal stamp and a garbage forever stamp. And then these instruments here, this registered mail label, this puts any document that you're writing under federal jurisdiction. That means can't nobody touch it. Can't nobody mess with it. This thing right here, it looks the same, but it's not. Let's be clear on that. Okay. Why is that important? What happens when you have a registered mail label on your document? It has to go through the hands of the postmaster. Let's be clear. The postmaster is a high federal agent. The postmaster, I told you, there's a federal side and then there's a public side. The postmaster works for the federal side. The postmaster is elected. The postmaster has a duty. The postmaster can go to prison when they don't do their job. If I put this in the hands of a postmaster, because it's going to have this registered mail label on it, it's got to go through the hands of the postmaster. Say something don't get done with respect to this package. Somebody tries to kidnap me, or this is my trust. Postmaster got to get involved. This came through the postmaster's domain. The postmaster had to sign off on it. This right here. And see, here's a problem. The postmaster doesn't even know what their job is. But you can put them on red alert because the postmaster is working for you on the federal side. Meanwhile, on the private side, you got a county clerk that's working for you on your behalf. Okay. So I've gone through some tools. Y'all know about the dollar. Y'all know about the stamp. You know about the registered mail labels. Your understanding about who the clerk is and what her responsibility is. You know about the responsibility of your postmasters. They work for you. And if I have any questions, I saw some questions come up. I want to know what the questions are before I get out of here. My main point is this. Somebody is rewriting history. And if you're not willing to study and learn, and there's going to be a time when you can't study anymore. You're just going to have to come through people like me who are putting this information out. You won't have the ability to study, or you're going to stay enslaved. And some of you all, you know, you feel that, oh, I don't have to pay. No, you didn't. Now you do. Now you're going to have to pay people because you're not finding any truth out here. You're not going to find any remedy out here, especially if you're looking on the internet. If you think you're going to go to Chat GPT or what's her name, Siri, and the other one, Google, or whatever these are, they're not going to tell you the truth. Right now, you go and look up what the Act of 1871 is. It's telling you about some KKK stuff, trying to make everything out to be racial. Talking about something with the vigilantism of the Ku Klux Klan. This didn't have nothing to do with no Ku Klux Klan. These people are rewriting history. Thank you for that, Teresa. Let me tell you what my charge is since y'all here, everybody here. And then this is good because then don't waste time. Don't waste my time and I won't waste your time. So let's go through this. For the UNA University, all right, we have several packages. We have the trust package. Let me show it to you. Oh, I don't have it over here. Membership trust package. And it comes with your documents that you're going to put on record, and UNA puts them on record for you. Membership trust package. This comes with all of your trust documents. Also, we're going to put them on record for you. We send you all of your registered mail labels and everything else. And we also have an education. That's most important, so you know how to use them. It comes with your membership badge. It comes with your allodial ID. All right. And then this thing this deals with your spiritual name. This is going to allow you to look up your documents quickly, that QR code, in the event that you need it, because UNA is going to keep a certified copy of your documents on record. All right. Price $625. Now, we got people out here who have stolen my information. They've stolen it straight up, just stole it. They charge $1,000. If they charge you $2,000, I'm letting you know we do it for less. But anytime you're looking at a trust, in most cases, you're starting at $1,200 and up. And sometimes it'll go up to $2,500 and more just for a trust. And you get no education. You don't get documentation. You don't get somebody backing you. You get people who are going to give you a lot of lies and they just want to sell a package because it's valuable. I'm not here about the money. And this is why it's aggravating and frustrating to me when I get people coming on my channel or my sessions and they're saying calling me a liar and saying all these disrespectful things. When I can be charging y'all and sit back and not give a damn. I don't have to do a live tonight. I don't have to care. I am good. I'm here giving the information because I want you all to grow. Those of you all who really want it, I know you don't get this information. I just lit this damn channel and TikTok up with all this information, and now I ain't gonna get no 1,000 views. It's okay. But those of y'all who are watching, tell somebody. Tell somebody. Because again, those of us who are out here trying to help you, it's a very frustrating road because people don't want to listen and nobody appreciates being attacked. Thank you, Jean. So that's the membership package. If you want to be a part of the UNA University, which is really where you need to be if you're talking about gaining true knowledge. If you really want to be a part of university, let me give you an understanding of what that is. Our charge is $5,000 per season. That's how much it's worth. But we only charging you out of pocket $444 per month. And you need to be ready to come into the class for at least 6 months. So $444 per month. And you're learning law, you're learning accounting, you're learning the spiritual aspect, which is really the most important part. You can't go to nobody's legal school and get this information that we're going to get for that. You can't. Not even $5,000. If I charge the full $5,000, that's still less than what you would charge when you go to any of these legal schools. That's less than what you would be charged if you go to any of these legal schools. Listen, it's not about money, but you have to be willing to invest. You paid to get yourself in the situation that you're in. You paid for it, so you got to pay to get yourself out. And I know that there's way more value in what I'm giving. Even this session I did today, there's way more value in it than what the charge is. So if you want to be a part of the UNA University, leave your name and number in the inbox and we'll get to you. And once again, there are people who are charging $2,000 for the same information that I'm giving you. And it's worth more than that. So don't come to me complaining and crying about whatever the value is, because I know that what I'm giving is way more than what I'm charging. It's worth way more than what I'm charging. To recap, and I'm going to get up out of here. If y'all have any questions before I get out of here, I want you to leave your name and number in the inbox. If you're looking for to join the UNA University, or you can leave your question in the comments section, and I'm ready to get to it in a few seconds after I recap this. Bottom line is, the topic was, you don't know what government is. And most of y'all do not. Y'all just clump all of these agencies up in the same category, and you call them government, when most of the ones you're talking to are not government at all. Government means govern. To govern means to control. Ment means mind. Government means control of the mind. That's what government means. Now, a true government has certain abilities, and they will conduct themselves in certain ways. And I'm letting you know that anything under .gov, they have been pretending to be government or true government, and they're not. They do have control of your mind, though. They've been pretending to be government, but they're not. But yes, they do have control of your mind. And so my whole point is this, to help you to understand that there's a difference between federal, state, city, and county. On the public side, the highest authorizing agency is federal. On the private side, the highest authorizing agency is county. All right? When we're doing business or we're wanting to protect our assets, we're putting them on the county level on the private side. If we're dealing with any kind of funding or operating in the public, the federal is your friend. But you need to know the difference between federal and state, because state is over here pretending to be federal. And if you don't know the difference between the two, you won't be able to maneuver. You're going to be doing business over here and wondering why they don't follow the rules. Because, fool, you ain't up under the federal. You over here messing around with the state because you don't know the difference. You think they both government, but they're not. You got to understand the difference between state republic and state of anything which belongs to Britain. If you don't know the difference, you're not going to know who you're doing business with, because when I have my tag and I'm driving with my tags, they don't touch this car. We want to understand the difference between these. I'm not getting in the city yet, but if you have any questions, I'm going to go over this. Also understand there are many federal instruments that are at play for your benefit. You got to know which ones they are. Once again, when we're talking about these Federal Reserve notes, this dollar bill is not even a Federal Reserve note, which is a corporated title. Federal Reserve note, that's a corporated title by the U.S. corporation. And notice why they have that box around it, because it's like, no, we're really not a Federal Reserve note. We're going to put that box around it. Yeah. But these other ones, these are state instruments, meaning U.S. corporation instruments. This one is not. It's federal. And your ones and twos are federal. And remembering the difference between garbage forever stamp versus a real stamp, federal stamp. This is not even a real instrument. This is not federal. This is not backed. This is real money right here, because it got a dollar value on it. Remembering the difference between a registered mail label and a certified mail label. They might look the same, but they're not. You gotta know the difference. All right. What else did I go over? You got to know the difference between, you look on the internet, anything.gov, that belongs to the United States corporation. That whole .gov title belongs to the United States corporation. Anybody operating under that, they're not truly federal. And don't let them tell you they're federal. Thank you for the love, Andrew. I appreciate that. I really do. Because today was really tough for me. And again, y'all show your love to people who are out here trying to give this information. They are getting attacked. These people want to tell you, oh, these sovereign citizens and all of this other stuff, when the truth is they are lying to you. Thank you, Coach. They're lying to you, and they're changing history. And it's going to get to the point, as I said, where you won't have a choice but to go through somebody like me who's going to give you the truth. If you don't start studying now, well, you're going to pay. Oh, you're going to pay, because some people out there doing what I'm doing. And again, for the same price that I just told you, for $625 that y'all would get upset about, they charge you $2,000. They stole my information, putting my image on all kind of stuff, stole it, and charging you $2,000 for the same information I'm giving you. So I don't want to hear your issues. I don't want to hear your complaints about how you can't afford it. You better learn how to manifest. And I go into manifesting on this channel all the time, because the only thing that's broke is the mindset. That's it. The mindset. You better learn how to manifest, God. You better learn how to manifest, because these are laws and acts that they're keeping hidden from you. That's not the only thing they're hiding. They're hiding the fact that you really know how to manifest when you tap into spirit, because that's where everything is coming from. So I don't worry about them watching me. All right, all you agents, welcome. Because my watchers are watching you. So watch, keep watching. Thank you. Everything has duality. And I use all duality to my advantage. Even when you're trying to be evil to me, I already know. Duality says I'm going to use it to uplift myself. Let me see if I have any questions. I'm going to get out of here. My people on YouTube, thank you for joining. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, Compass and S-Walk, Darren. Thank you for the love. Y'all like, share, subscribe. YouTube and TikTok. Come on. I mean, you know what? Like I said, I already know. On YouTube, I'm getting shadow banned, and that's okay because I know that the people who find me are people who are actually looking. And those are the only people I want to deal with anyway. The people who really want to know this information, the people who are ready to grow. Because when you're ready to grow, money will never be an issue for you. When you're truly ready to grow and invest in yourself, money will never be an issue for you. You will live in abundance like the rest of my people who are walking with me. So if you're not at that point yet, I encourage you to get your mind together. I always go through, I've gone through several sessions on UNA dealing with learning how to manifest. You need to learn how to manifest and be willing to invest, showing gratitude. Because at this time, your time is running out to be able, I'm going to just study it by myself. Okay, go ahead. You won't find remedy because somebody is purposely misleading you and lying to you. Thank you for the love. Let me see. I got a bonsai. I like it. Bonsai. Andrew, thank you for the love. Let me see. I'm just going back through here to see if I have any questions. Do I have a book? We do have a book. It's called UNA Beginner Law Book. All right. And you can get this on unauniversity.com. You can find the link in the bio. This comes with the vibratory frequency chart. Very powerful chart here. All this is powerful anyway. It comes with the hierarchy of laws. It comes with the universal laws. It also comes with this new document that we have. It's called the civilization cycle and the societal totem pole. Very powerful documents here. So you can go to unauniversity.com. You can either get the ebook or you can get the physical copy. All right. Does anybody have any other questions before I get out of here? Thank you for the love, Tamara. Tamara said, awesome, Queen. She is the truth. I speak the facts. And unfortunately, somebody is deleting them. So I got to give you my truth. I prefer for you to go and look it up for yourself. But unfortunately, somebody's making that difficult. What is my ID registered to? UNA, Darnell. What we show you how to create your own governmental entity. Listen, you don't have to be, you see some people, you join the Moors and sign all your stuff up under the Moors. You got to understand, it's not just Albions lying to you. There are melanated people who are lying to you too. And they working with the same people who you trying to get away from. And so they give you misinformation to put you back up under their organization. And their organization is incorporated under the organization you were trying to get away from in the first place. So our thing is to help you establish your own organization and stand on your own. So, I don't register to anybody. What does it mean to register? When you're registering something, you're turning over title to that thing, to that entity. So when you register your house, your car, your marriage, your children, anything else, your car, the birth certificate, you've registered it, or you've turned over the title of that thing to the state, which is the United States Corporation, which is owned by Britain. You just turned over everything. That's the purpose of the state. The state is there to take away everything that's owned by the people. So they encourage you. No, they don't encourage you. They try to force you to register everything. And you don't have to by law. Nobody can force you into a contract. But if you don't know how to stand on that, oh yeah, they're going to bully you. What you expect? You trying to get away from the bully or massa? Yeah, you're going to get bullied. So you have to understand who you are. Otherwise, you're going to stay under their control. And if you're ignorant, you can't walk this. You cannot walk as a sovereign if you're ignorant. So we show you, this is why we say come to the university, because you have to fully know how to stand. And you didn't get ignorant overnight, so you're not going to gain this knowledge overnight. So you got to be willing to invest your time. And yeah, you're going to have to put some money into it, or take your time. Take your time, because after a couple of years, you won't be able to find none of this stuff we're talking about. None of it. Then you're going to have to really pay. And $5,000, you're going to wish that's all it was. Okay. Thank you for consistency. Thank you for the love, user. I really do appreciate it. Jonathan says, thank you, proud of you. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate the love. And all of y'all who have sent the flowers and the roses, thank you. Ancient, I really do appreciate you. One of my friends says, gratitude, thank you. Coach, thank you so much. I'm just answering questions, so if you have any questions before I get out of here, let me know. Andrew says, thank you for the game, brick by brick. All right. Thank you, Andrew. We're going to throw some bricks is what we're going to do. Nonviolent. Chief, thank you for the love. Tony. All right, girl, get out of here. I do know they are a corporation. Let me say this too before I get out of here. With that being said, the way that you know, first of all, I told you anything under .gov is a corporation. Dun & Bradstreet used to be an organization that worked closely with the federal. So any entity or agency or organization that wanted to do business with the federal government had to get a Dun & Bradstreet number. And there's all these organizations out here that have a Dun & Bradstreet number, and we're not aware of it. If you got a Dun & Bradstreet number, you cannot be federal. That's one of the ways too. Now, Dun & Bradstreet has lost their status with the federal government some kind of way. It's switched up. Maybe 3 years ago, but right now they do have a Dun & Bradstreet number. They're not a true federal government, because you cannot be a federal government and get funds from the federal government. If you're federal, you don't need a Dun & Bradstreet number, because you can't get federal funds from the federal government. All right, it's a conflict of interest. Let's see. And once again, if you want to join, please leave your name, number, and email in the inbox so we can get to you. Can I find your information? Oh, where can I get the package? Once again, you can get the trust, the UNA University beginner law book. You can get that on unauniversity.com. All right. unauniversity.com. $625 was the amount for the trust package. And once again, if you're joining the UNA University, which I encourage you to do because that's where the true information of how to stand is, then you're going to need to go to put your name, number, and email in the inbox so we can get to you. All right. My son, my daughters, thank you. Thank you, Charles. Curtis, I'm not sure what you were saying. If you have a question before I get out of here, let me know. Bonsai says much appreciated. All right, let me see. I'm ready to go. I don't want nobody saying before I get out of here, you forgot my question. Okay. Thank you for As I Grow. Thank you for the love. Sauce, thank you for the love. Eddie, thank you for the love. Okay. Is it necessary to change your status? All right. Thank you for that question, Pat. So what does status mean? Status is where you are stating who you are as an individual. All right. Right now, most people's status is that of a citizen. All right. A citizen means that you are a corporate slave or entity because you have signed over your rights. Now, some people have the title of black, some have Indian, some have white, some have Asian, and something else, Hawaiian, something in there. All right. But the status deals with a dead fictitious organization or entity, regardless of which one of those 5 titles you select. It deals with a dead fictitious entity, regardless of which of those 5. Now, those of us who are sovereign, we have put on record who we are. We have a trust. And so our status is that of sovereign. Now, some people have bastardized that word. Sovereign deals with God's status. Somebody who stands with God. Somebody who is a God. That's what sovereign means. But they bastardized and put it with sovereign citizen. That doesn't even exist. But when you change your status, then they're not under your jurisdiction. This status means don't be pulling my vehicle over. This status means I'm not under your jurisdiction. This status means keep driving. Don't even think about it. That's why you want to change your status. If you stay a citizen, they're going to treat you like what you're showing up as. What the code for not pay taxes? Who said that? Eddie. What do you mean, what is the code for not paying taxes? Not paying taxes is knowing who you are. See, that's why you got to come into school. So you just y'all want stuff quick. Well, how do I get out of paying? You don't even understand how you got into paying it first. You don't. Let me tell y'all something. This is another reason why I say come into the school, because I get people all the time who try to just use the information that I put out to just do a process with paper. Oh, I'm going to write this out. I'm going to send this in. That's not how it works. And if your spiritual side is not right, I don't care what process you do, you're never going to get those funds. Well, how I just get it? Well, I don't have to pay for nothing ever, Diva. You're going to have to pay to get that information. Pay attention. You're going to pay with some blood, sweat, and tears. And you're going to have to pay some Federal Reserve notes. But you're going to have to pay. Because again, everything comes from the spiritual side. You're asking for gifts. If you're not willing to invest, then you don't deserve it, period. Oh, but Diva, they did us wrong. They did. Listen up. There ain't no victims here. Not you, not me, not nobody, not the woman, not the child. There are no victims here. We are spiritual, ethereal entities coming back into this dimension to learn a lesson. You're not just going to write some paperwork and then have it work for you. That's not how it works. You got to go through the spiritual side, just like everybody else. Otherwise, you'll never receive. And even if you do receive, I can sit up here and give you $1 million right now, and you're going to lose it because you're not supposed to have it. When you're supposed to have it, it's going to find you. You won't have to search. All right, I have a question. Ask the question then. Why? I told him to get out of here. I'm tired of the matrix. Curtis. When you learn the rules, the matrix becomes fun. It does. When you learn the rules, the matrix becomes fun. And I mean the rules of this dimension. We haven't learned the rules. What we out here doing is forming us with lies. Then we look up stuff and we think we know something and it's really still a lie. But okay, it's going to get to the point where if you don't decide to research for yourself, the only way out will be through somebody who's going to take advantage of you. I just told you, somebody has stolen my material and is using my material and charging you 4 times what I charge you. And they can't deliver on nothing they say. The people, this was so funny. The people that they have swindled They find their way back to me. And then what happens when they find their way back to me is they're saying, well, you know, these people said they were going to do this, 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 and this, and they ain't done none of that. Yeah, because they can't deliver. They're not righteous people. But they're charging you 4 times more than what I charge. Okay. And you'll never get the information. Again, you got all the time in the world. You can either get it in this lifetime or get it in the next time. You got all the time in the world. But I'm letting you know, if you want to get it now, you better be willing to invest. Either invest your time, or you're going to invest some money, or all of the 3 above. Blood, sweat, and tears. But you're going to pay. Because right now, somebody is making it to the point where even the people who have the information, if they're not righteous, which a lot of them are not, they just money hungry, then they're going to hit you up. They're going to take advantage of you. And that's what you get for waiting. But I'm not rushing you. Take your time. You got all the time in the world. Is there a way to undo the registration with the state? You can undo anything. All contracts are rescindable. All contracts can be rescinded. Yes. So when you're ready to learn law, then you'll be able to rescind the contract. But let me help you understand something, because a lot of people want to come in and again, I want to use the process so I can get some money, Diva. You better know who you are. Because again, what happens, what y'all see in the movies when the slave tries to escape, master comes running after him. Master comes running after you. And if you don't know who you are, master is going to get you into another contract. You're going to be enslaved even worse this time. So what am I saying? You get a lump sum of money from taxes, or you get a lump sum of money from whatever documentation you sent in. And then somebody's going to come after you, and then they're going to say to you, oh, no, you committed fraud. Watch this now. You have done everything right legally. And you send your documentation, and there's this organization going to come after you and say, you owe money. Listen up. The federal government cannot come after you for money because it's their responsibility to give you money. Let me say this again. The federal government cannot come after you for money because it's their responsibility to give you money. If somebody's taking you to court on something, it's not the federal government. It's a private entity that's owned by the United States corporation. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. When you can go and look up court cases where somebody's taking somebody to court, it's an all capital letter corporation, or is this alphabet corporation. It's never going to be the true federal government, because the federal government is responsible for giving you money. The agencies that come after you are state-owned. That British organization owned United States corporation. That's who's coming after you. The federal is never going to come after you for money. IRS, they tell you that's a federal entity. Well, maybe the Internal Revenue Service might be federal, but the IRS is definitely not. And I want y'all to be aware of acronyms. Anytime you're seeing US, USA, U.S.A. all of that, I.R.S. anything with an acronym, that belongs to the United States corporation. Take a look at who supposedly raided Diddy's house. Go back and look at it. Was there an acronym on that truck? Well, that organization, that wasn't even a federal organization. It was a United States corporation organization. Yeah. Somebody, they deal with the United States corporation. And note that Diddy had some people, some big name people that he had been rubbing elbows with. You don't think those people got together and created some kind of whatever so they can go and raid this man's house to get rid of that evidence? Let me tell you something. That man won't see a day in prison because he likely has one of these. Not to mention the fact that he's working with them. That man won't see a day in jail. If he was supposed to be there, he would have been there by now. Meanwhile, other people getting arrested for stupid stuff. The man on camera beating the heck out of somebody and still ain't been arrested. Okay. Any contract that you send can be rescinded. All right. What about taxes? Okay, when you're in the university, we teach you how to stop dealing with taxes. As a matter of fact, some of our students, we will do their taxes for them. Everybody doesn't qualify for us to do their taxes. All right. Monique says, I inbox you. All right, Monique, thank you. Do you cover Stamp Act of 1899? I will. If I can find the true version of Stamp Act of 1899, I will definitely cover it. All right. Let me see what else I got. How do we send payments? Thank you for that, John the Dunbell. This is what I want you to do. Send an inbox with your name, email, and phone number, and then we're going to contact you and go ahead and get you into the university. Willie said, how do I get that? Send your name, number, phone number so we can get you into the university. That's where you need to be because you got to learn how to stand. Thank you for the love. All of you all, thank you for the love. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all watching. I feel a lot better now because I was ready to go off earlier. How to get to the university. Grateful. What I need you to do, send your name, number, and email so we can get you into the university. And by the way, I need y'all to know with the university, this is not just where we just throw some videos up and go, okay, watch these videos, and then you're on your own. The university is a mentoring program where we walk you through step by step. If you're suing somebody, we're going to walk through you. If you're trying to deal with your mortgage and come out of that, we're going to walk you step by step. We're going to show you the law. We're going to hold your hand. This is live sessions that we do. So if you're wanting to be a part of it, it's worth it. Right now, it's only $444 per month. You won't be able to get it for that after a while. Let me keep feeling like I felt when I first started doing this session. I wanted to shut it down. Let me keep feeling like that. Y'all better get it. Y'all better get it because at some point, I'm not going to be here to do it for you. And those others who are holding the information, they're going to rape you with all they will. And I mean that. You go to them, the amount that I'm charging, like I told you, it's valued at $5,000, but the only amount that I charge you is $444 because we have a financing program. It's valued at $5,000 because I'm there with you. I'm walking you through it step by step. But then I give you a financing program. Somebody else is not going to give you that. They're going to rape you. They're going to bend you right over. And they're going to stick the longest pole that they got. Trust me. I know that sounds harsh. That's too vivid. I'm telling you what's happening. Because now you can't even get to the information. But these vultures out here who are holding on to the information, they're going to rape you to get to it. They don't know all the facts. They don't know all the facts. But if they can rape you to get money from you, then that's what they're going to do. And you can cry, oh, I ain't got it. Could you do a for a pro bono? No, ain't nobody trying to do nothing for pro bono. You had your opportunity. And at some point, that's going to disappear as it is right now. That's why you can't find the Act of 1871, which is telling you the truth about there being two different United States corporations. I don't want to rush you. I could care less right now, because as the way I feel right now, here's the deal. You got all the time in the world. Take your time. Only people who I want to deal with are those who are ready to invest in themselves. If that's not you, I'm not trying to force you. I ain't trying to tell you to hurry up, you got to get it now. No, take time. Because at some point, I already know what's going to happen, because it's happening right here in my face. The same project that I'm offering, a product that I'm offering to you, somebody is charging 4 times as much as what I charge, and they can't do a smidgen of what I've done. All right. How many months? Years, Pat. Years. Because you can't go to any kind of law school and learn about being a lawyer under 4 years. As a matter of fact, you go to law school, you're talking about 4 years, plus you're talking about another 3 years, plus then you got to be an apprentice. And it's not going to take you that much time. But you better be willing to put in some years, because the university is a university. When somebody tell you university, you know you're talking about at least 2 years. When you're talking about a college, yeah, it takes time. So if you're willing to study, if you're willing to put the time and effort in, if you're willing to invest, you're going to get what you want, but you ain't going to get it in no couple of months, years. Because now we're going into, you know what, I wrote it down. Let me just tell you what, because I wrote it down. I was so kind enough to sit down and write this down. So y'all get ready to hear it right now before I get out of here. Put your questions up. Put your questions up, because I'm just answering questions right now, and I'm going to find it so you understand some of the things that we go over in the university. All right. Where is it? Put your questions up. Put your questions up. Where is it? Here we go. What you will learn in the UNA University. All right. Most importantly, in our first season, we're dealing with esoteric spiritual knowledge. That's important. I get people who, I'm good, Diva. I don't need no spiritual help. I'm good with everybody. And next thing you know, they calling me the very next day. Help, Diva. They about to break my window out of my car. Okay, deal with it, because you didn't want to deal with the spiritual side. So I got nothing for you. Spiritual side, how to use the universal laws and the hierarchy of laws, knowledge of self, history, most important, because we are clueless about history. What is a trust? The trust documents, everything that goes into them. I got too many people got all these trust documents. They are clueless about how to use them. Well, it's not gonna work for you if you don't know how to use them. They come to me and they tell me, Diva, somebody put a document on record, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to. Well, then it's not doing you any good. All right, so you learn about the trust documents, how to stand on your tools, meaning when the cops come at you, when the IRS come at you, when the FBI, when all these people come at you, do you know what to say, how to stand? Do you know how to stand? Overcoming your fear and anger, overcoming the people who are around you, overcoming yourself, because some of y'all hanging around people who swear they know law. Oh, my cousin, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, uncle on my great grandmama's side, he was a lawyer, and he told me, and don't have a clue about what real law is. Get away from them. Learning what government is, which is what I went over tonight. We show you how to be your own government, which is what somebody was asking earlier. Talking about what, who we register under. You register under you. Register under your nation. How to write lawsuits. How to stand in court. How to create your own court. How to contract right. How to clean your credit. How to build your credit. How to build your nation. We in year 2 now. That it takes you some time to get to that point. How to create a business, then a shelter corporation. How to keep somebody else from seeing your business. How to operate on the public side. how to prepare your taxes, how to create financial instruments, how to bank. Y'all have been banking and didn't even know it. If you sat down and you signed a mortgage contract, you didn't even recognize you were banking. You signed over $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 note. You gave them money and didn't recognize it. We're showing you how to bank, how to do business directly with the federal on the private side. So all of these things y'all wanted to know, it takes time to learn that. It's got to become a part of you. All right. I want y'all to know I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for your information, your patience. Thank you for your attention. Once again, I'm here to help you. I want to help you. At some point, there's not going to be much I can do. So be ready to invest in yourself and know that there are some people out there who are lying to you. Be willing to study. I love y'all. I'm out. Peace. Thank you. Thank you for telling me I'm appreciated. I love that. Thank you so much. I'm out. Bye, y'all.